Hi, I'm Bex. This is Paul. So I've known Paul for nearly 25 years. We've been married for the last 10 and a half, but for a lot of that time, we didn't know that he was autistic. We didn't know that the struggles would have, or the challenges would have, or the amazing fun that we'd have as well. Now, I'm not autistic, and navigating this, our relationship and our lives has been a real challenge. It's been really hard, but there's also been joy. Um, but looking online and watching other videos of people who are autistic in relationships, we haven't really come across any conversations between partners where there's one who's autistic and one who isn't. So we thought it would be an interesting idea to see if we could pass video notes between each other to talk about this crazy life that we've made our own, to talk about the challenges, what we found hard, how we've overcome things along the way. So yeah, we met in 2022. No, we didn't. We met in 2002. And I mean, even then we had an inkling that something was going on. We thought maybe he had Asperger's, as it was, called before 2013. He really struggled if there was any changes to plans or to routines. He found a lot of social situations really, really tiring, really draining. He took a lot of things really literally. I mean, he still does. And a pretty sharp memory for things like dates or little details, things that would pass most people by. We actually met the second week of university and we hit it off straight away. We had a lot of really, really shared interests. And what I loved was the fact that we could have a proper conversation even when we just met, above and beyond the whole, oh, what's your name? Where did you come from? What are you studying? And that was really, really special. And actually, we got on so well that other people we met thought that we'd come to uni together, that we'd known each other for years beforehand, even though, our accents at the time were from opposite ends of the country. But he was also really depressed a lot of the time in the early years that I knew him, which, in hindsight makes a lot of sense given the decades and decades of masking that he had to do throughout his life, and also the trauma of having to navigate childhood as an undiagnosed autistic kid and the struggles, that comes with. So he got diagnosed with depression, he got diagnosed with social anxiety, but nothing quite fit. And we got married in 2015, and it was shortly after that that he started seriously thinking and beginning the process of pursuing and diagnosis of autism. At the time, the waiting list in the UK was about 4.5 years. I know it's gone up since then on the NHS, although we're very lucky to obviously have the NHS. Even at that time, that got delayed because of lost paperwork and then because of COVID and other things as well. But eventually, he got the phone call, and oh my goodness, it was a diagnosis of autism, and things changed quite a lot. Everything made sense. His need for routine and exhaustion after a lot of social interactions, the lack of initiative. So it's been really, really hard navigating this. And there's been loads of really, really tough times and frustration. Tasks that seem really simple to me are just impossible for him. Things that would seem like a logical, foregone conclusion to him take me a while to figure out. He needs things organized. I'm a complete and utter spontaneous chaos gremlin. And I am really chaotic in a way that he finds quite challenging. I'm messy, I'm forgetful, I like to do things spur of the moment. And because of this, sometimes we find it difficult to coexist in the same space. But there's been a lot of joy too, and I think that's something else that isn't talked about enough in this space, like anecdotally at least. There's the joy you can have, both being an autistic person and being in a relationship with someone who's autistic too. We both love reading, we love food, we love board games when we have the time for time for them. We love spending time with our really close friends. And he has the strongest moral compass and this unflinching honesty that makes me a better person in the same way that I'll make him a better person too. And that's a really special thing, I think. We had a kid in 2017. He's now a brilliant, crazy little 8-year-old. And that's something we'll probably talk about in the future because parenting as an undiagnosed or newly diagnosed autistic parent is quite challenging, funnily enough. We've got a brilliant dog, we've got a very grumpy cat, and basically we wanted to use the space to have a think about all this, talk about it. I really share what it's like for an autistic person and an allistic person going through life together. How do we navigate it to make sure we both live our best lives? So I'll pass over to Paul now. But Paul, I've got a question for you. And my question is this: what did getting a diagnosis mean to you? Bex out.